Hot Property is brought to you by monstermortgage.ca. Take the fear out of financing. Daniel Ellenberg, Toronto's real estate expert, and Tridel, built for life.
Hi there, welcome to this week's edition of Hot Property, our interactive real estate show. Dave Curry from monstermortgage.ca will be joining us a little bit later on in the show. We have lots to talk about when it comes to mortgages and, of course, the central bank cutting interest rates. We'll see how far banks are really going with that. We're going to kick off our discussion right now by talking new and resale homes with Daniel Ellenberg from sellwithdan.com and Royal LePage. And we're going to talk about condos. And really, both gentlemen are quite well-versed in all areas of real estate. Jim Ritchie, Tridel. But first, a couple of headlines. Real estate analysts are describing the GTA rental market as a landlord's market because of the economic downturn. Also, the Bank of Canada is warning that our money troubles are going to get far worse before they get any better, and that's going to hit us right where we live, literally. The report is suggesting the Canadian housing market may soon be flooded with for sale signs because of a growing number of foreclosures. It says the credit situation will eventually improve, but that it's going to take some time. And the news is hitting particularly hard because the big banks have chosen not to match recent rate cuts, and people on Facebook are using the online forum to speak out. This Facebook group created by a Toronto homeowner is encouraging Canadians to write, message, and speak to bank officials about the decision. So far, hundreds have joined the online club alone today. It's called Pass on Rate Cuts Canadian Banks. There's been a lot of criticism of this country's 6 big financial institutions after they decided to cut rates by only 50 basis points. And as you know, the central bank dropped its rate by 75 basis points. I want to put some phone numbers up so that you can get to us. This is an interactive show, so if you've got a question, please don't hesitate. Within the GTA, 416-872-CP24. That's 2724. Toll free, 1-888-863. CP24. If you're on the internet, we welcome your emails. Send it to hotproperty@cp24.com. Dan, Jim, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Anne.
No good news really anywhere. Can you give us a little nugget of something when it comes to the housing market, or is this the way it is for now?
Well, we'll go together. You start.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the landlord report that came out today, the rental market report, is really the first nugget of good news that we've had in a little while in this Toronto real estate market. But I think it portends quite well for the future. I mean, the reality is that right now we have about 28,000 listings for sale, which is about 50% more than there were a year ago at this time. A lot of those listings, however, are priced maybe not at realistic levels, so that people that are looking to sell, you know, there is still a market that's existing and the sales are still happening. And with this report that's come out, a lot of people, you know, are listening to the news, are nervous about their jobs, and they've decided that they're going to take maybe a breather and rent. And what we're seeing now happen is that the vacancy rate has really dropped quite significantly in Toronto.
Now, what if someone who wants to sell their home or their condo, and they really need it in order to get the equity out to go and do whatever it is they had intended to do before this economic downturn, what if renting really doesn't fit what it is they're looking to do? You know, you sign a lease, you have a tenant, you have to keep that person or that family in there for 1 year. That's normally the suggested length of time in a lease. You know, I mean, it makes it sound simple, but it might not be the perfect option for individuals out there.
It's not for everyone, but it's good that we have that as an additional option. I mean, it would be a lot worse if we were faced with a real estate market that has slowed down and a rental market that wasn't doing anything either.
So is it a landlord's market or is it a tenant's market? So when you go into a property, can you negotiate a much better rental rate because of all of the economic uncertainty going on right now?
Well, you know, from a purpose-built rental, which these are buildings that are built specifically for rental, you know, we talk about a balanced market in terms of resale, and things have changed a little bit on the sale side. Well, even on the rental now, it's a little more balanced. It certainly was in favor of the tenant over the last few years because they were dealing with quite large vacancies, but that's changed a lot. If I just turn this around from the condo perspective, like I like to do.
Yes, and why not?
You know, for those folks that have purchased condominiums with the intention to keep them as an investment, this is also good news from that perspective because that condo rental market is tightening. which is something that we see every day. So your ability to rent and to maximize your investment looks to be pretty good, simply because these first-time buyers, instead of entering into the purchase market at this time, they're staying in rentals and they're going to some of these condos.
So let's go economics 101 here. That means that in some cases, people will be pulling their listings off the market. So it means that the supply will lessen a bit, and that makes it look better in the supply and demand column, doesn't it?
Well, you know, it's interesting because a lot of these homes, as I said originally, a lot of these homes that are listed for sale right now are not listed at appropriate prices given the market conditions. So when we see 28,000 listings out there as a whole in the GTA, the reality is, and I can't give you an exact number, but let's say, you know, for the sake of argument, 20,000 of those are priced to sell. Lately, even this week, I've been speaking with people that have seen some activity in terms of they've noticed some sold signs. Myself, clients are calling me up and saying, you know, what should we do? We have this money to buy. The interest rates are as low as, you know, they've ever been.
They just got lower.
I mean, there's obviously a lot of people out there that need to sell. We're thinking about buying, but we're a little spooked here. People that are going to take that, I guess, leap of faith are probably going to be rewarded. Of course, we have a few months, I would say, of uncertainty to come. But I'm still, in fact, even more encouraged just by this report that came out, you know, that really does demonstrate the fact that people are looking, they need a place to live. People that did buy these condos for investment to rent out are going to be able to rent them out. I think we're going to be okay.
You know, it's interesting when the central bank puts out a statement saying things are going to get worse, far worse, before they get better. You know, no wonder people are a little bit apprehensive.
Exactly.
We're watching what's going on in the auto industry on both sides of the border, and that's the ripple effect from that. We just don't know at this point.
You know what, guys? We are getting bombarded every day with
bad
different,
news.
whether it's bad news and different news, sometimes once in a while it's good news.
Yeah, once in a while.
But the fact is that there's all this stuff coming out every day, and it's really hard for people to sit back and understand what the heck is really going on here.
Well, it also is hard for them to have the confidence to make probably the biggest purchase of their lives.
You know what, and that certainly contributes to it, because if you're uncertain, you're going to sit on your hands and you're going to wait a little bit.
And what are you waiting for, you know?
And what are you waiting for?
Well, and I think of people, you know, a lot of people that are deciding to make a move because they have to. I mean, you know, we had almost 4,000 sales in the month of November, and I can't imagine a much worse month than the month we had last month in terms of negative news coming out. So people are looking for a place to live. Of course, we're not going to see the activity that we saw in past months, at least for a little while. But there's still a market there. If you price your home properly to sell, it will sell.
Well, I guess if you analyze that report about landlords, it also is saying that perhaps people aren't as keen to enter the housing market, the home-owning housing market. So they're staying in their own rentals, or they are seeking out rental property.
So
so it's not necessarily that they're buying, they have to live somewhere, and that they are renting. So you're seeing the good out of this report. I'm always going to look at both sides and see that it's also saying that people just aren't really feeling comfortable right now buying.
You know, the other thing about that report is because the vacancy rate has dropped so precipitously in such a short time, the actual rate of rentals is going up. The price of rentals is increasing. So I think people are going to have to sit home and do a budget and, you know, calculate the pros and cons, because when you look at buying a home, purchasing a home with these incredibly low rates, the carrying costs can be quite comparable to renting.
But if you're worried about losing your job, that's about the last thing on your mind, you know, and there are people who are really fearful of that. We're seeing jobs being shed everywhere.
Well, you can't discount that at all, and clearly it's consumer confidence that has been the brakes on the real estate market, and you know, in the last few weeks, certainly in the last couple of months.
Well, we've been inundated, as you say, and you know, our responsibility at CP24 is to present what facts are out there and what information is out there clearly and truly and honestly, and it hasn't been pretty. That is for sure.
No.
So let's talk positively now. You've got some properties that you'd like to mention. I mean, I mean, one of the most incredibly enjoyable things in life is looking for a new home and setting up a new home. And you know, so let's just take one step further and talk to me about what's out there as far as your properties are concerned. And you know, I know you've got some spectacular listings that are very well priced at this point.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you know, from my perspective, we're in every market. When I say, you know, we're in the condominium market, but the condominium market is made up of many, many different sub-markets, and those are determined by where you are, the size of the home, the price of the home. And, you know, one thing our company's done over the years is really diversify that product type. So whether you're in a starter condo, and you name any kind of location, but obviously in the smallest of 1 bedrooms, or whether you want a $6 or a $7 million condominium in a very prestigious area, there are different markets to serve.
Well, and now we understand if it's for an investment, there seems to be a market out there to rent.
Yes, and you know what? That product is generally priced somewhere between $250,000 and $450,000, where it seems to make the most sense. Downtown has always been the biggest attraction.
You've got one on Front Street. I want to just, Yonge and Shepherd. Where else have you got projects going up?
Oh, man, we are, should I say City TV? We're not associated with them anymore, but we're everywhere. That's our line now.
Very good.
Okay, we'll take that one over. But whether you're in Scarborough, you go as far north as Richmond Hill, we go to Mississauga, obviously throughout the 416 through North York, downtown.
And you're still seeing sales through this kind of quiet time?
It definitely is quieter, but sales are out there. People are still dealing with their housing needs.
Well, in your case, if it's on paper today, it might not be finished for a couple of years. I know you'd work swiftly and
but we also
beautifully.
have product available that you could move in.
But I'm saying people can kind of feel a little more comfortable, perhaps, getting through these tough times.
Well, that's nothing. Just in terms of our size and be able to give you a wide variety of closing times, whether it's now, in 2009, 2010, 11, or 12. We're spread all over.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, Dan will tell us what he's got up his sleeve, and we will also take some phone calls. Stay with us. We've got emails, too.
Storm alert on CP24 with exclusive all-day coverage.
I'm meteorologist Chris Potter tracking a dangerous double shot of winter coming our way. Who will be hit the hardest, how much snow will we get, and more importantly, when will it all be over? We're keeping our eyes on it every step of the way.
Watch exclusive all-day coverage only on Toronto's Storm Station, CP24.
Why is your bank selling you a fixed-rate mortgage when history has proven you're better off with a variable rate? Call or visit monstermortgage.ca today and see how you can pay down your mortgage quicker and contribute to your bottom line, not your bank's. Monstermortgage.ca, giving you the facts your bank won't tell you.
Introducing Braun Series 7. The world's first shaver with pulsonic technology. Its oscillating head with over 10,000 micropulses per minute gives you incredibly smooth skin. The Series 7, one of Braun's perfectly smooth gifts.
It's where Front meets John. It's where Toronto comes to play. It's where time stands still. It's where you belong. 300 Front Street West. Tridel. Built for life.
Can a small cap of softener soften all these clothes? Yes, with Ultra Downy April Fresh. Its concentrated formula gives you up to 33% more loads per bottle and has renewing freshness pearls that give you a scent that lasts 3 times longer. Ultra Downy April Fresh. Use less, feel more.
Folgers beans are evenly roasted, so you'll wake up to a rich, pure Folgers taste.
Have you been downtown lately?
SellWithDan.com.
What a vibrant city we've become. People around the world and here at home are discovering the opportunities of living and investing in downtown Toronto.
SellWithDan.com. SellWithDan.com.
I've sold thousands of properties in Toronto over the last 2 decades, and each home, like each client, is unique. I'm Dan Ellenberg, and I'm looking forward to helping you.
SellWithDan.com.
What's the lead, boys? Canada's only all-comedy network takes us to the edge.
Come on, we got it back.
You know why I'm standing here?
You got all C's in high school?
Uncensored, unforgiving.
I don't want to be afraid every time I turn around.
24 hours a day.
I can do this all day.
7 days a week.
24/7, huh?
365 days a year.
Thanks for the heads up.
That's my boy.
Where laughs are the law.
Let's celebrate with some bangers and mash. Is he having a laugh?
The Comedy Network. It's time well wasted.
Any day of the week.
And lift off.
There's science everywhere. Daily Planet will show you where to look for it and what it all means. Spend some quality time on the planet. Daily Planet. Weeknights on Discovery Channel.
Back to Hot Property. Welcome back to Dan Ellenberg from sellwithdan.com and Royal LePage and Jim Ritchie from Tridel. Quickly, Dan, well, you can take as much time as you like, frankly. Tell us about a couple of interesting items that you have.
Well, a couple, one area of the city, the East End, Woodbine and Gerrard area. It's a really fantastic location close to the city. I have a new listing. It's a 2-bedroom detached home with parking, separate detached garage. It's completely redone inside, just beautiful from the floors to the ceilings. Asking price is $419,000, which is priced quite well for that location. So for people interested, you can actually access my website to have a look at that.
And it's only, dealt with once there's an offer in. So
That's
$419,000 is what you're asking. If an active offer comes in, then the fun really begins. I mean, these days, do you as a real estate agent and do your clients expect that they'll get full asking?
Well, it's always nice to hope, but I think you price a property in this market expecting that people are going to look at what you're asking. They're going to compare what you're asking to what neighbors are asking that have their homes up for sale.
How are you able to determine that, though? This market changes week by week.
Well, it's interesting when we look at the numbers and the sale prices. We haven't really seen that much more of a drop-off in price over the last 2 months. Yeah, the ones that are selling, because the only ones that we can report on are the ones that sell.
Okay.
So what we're seeing is that the homes that are selling, there was a drop, I think, around the beginning of October. We saw in the October numbers that they were about 10% less than they were the year before, and that number has stayed constant.
Now, is there a difference if you price something at $399,900 or $400, or if you price it over $399,900, do you reduce the number of interested people? Is it like sort of a different group of people? If you went $399,900 or under, does it broaden out the appeal and the interest?
Well, for anyone that's looking for a home under $400,000, if 400,000 is their max, yeah, they're not going to look over that amount. Yeah. So you will, the lower you price a home, generally speaking, you will get more activity, more showings. However, if a home is worth more than $400,000, pricing it under, you can't really expect in this market, at least, I'm advising my clients, you can't really expect to get multiple offers unless you're priced so well. And then you always run the risk of that not happening.
It'd be nice to get an offer.
Well, you do, but you want to be priced as close as possible to where you're really.
Yes, because you're not looking at what we've seen in the past, which is going over asking. And you've noticed that multi-million-dollar units are.
Well, that is interesting. First of all,
percolating.
We've seen real estate numbers for the month of November, a little bit in October, the month of November, and whatever's going to happen in December are probably going to be absolutely dismal. I really, truly do not believe that's indicative of where this market is going in 2009. It's clearly a reaction to all of this economic news that we've heard for a period of time. We're in a very large, very vibrant city. There's lots of good things going on. People right now just want to take this pause because they're concerned about all markets, never mind just real estate.
There is an appetite for units, apartments that are over $1 million, and homes that are in the millions.
We have a community on Bayview, south of Lawrence, that we consistently see reasonably good traffic through the month of October, through the month of November, and we've sold some homes there at some big numbers. Most recently, one at about 1.4 million. We have another one coming in at 2.5. We're entertaining one close to 6 million on Monday.
So how does that happen? And product that is priced in the 300,000 and 400,000 aren't moving.
The market is not, as people think, completely
it's
dead.
Abnormal, isn't it?
It's abnormal. There's activity out there, and it comes in pockets here.
Well, and it's people deciding if they're going to make a move or not, and those that are deciding that yes, all this turmoil is out there, but it will eventually stop, and this is a great buying opportunity. Are going ahead and taking that leap. Others that are more concerned. If they are out of a job, of course, you're not going to be looking to purchase right now. So
it helps if you don't have to sell something in order to buy something.
Well, this is a great time. It's a great time to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a rental property you wanted to mention.
Rental property, actually very close to the station at on St. Patrick Street in a brand new building. We've mentioned for regular viewers this building before because I've sold a lot of condos in there, and there's a rental available. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. I think we're asking $2,300 a month.
That's just up the street, 96 St. Patrick.
96 St. Patrick, yeah.
Yeah, very good. All
Beautiful
right, good.
building.
Let's go to the phones. Stefan from Brampton, thanks for waiting. Hi, Stefan.
Hi, how you doing?
How are you?
Good, good, good. I've been a renter for a better part of about 12, 13 years, and I'm a little surprised with the I don't know, I guess the fear with buying now. And I've just bought a place about a month ago. And because of the rise in property tax in the city and the land transfer tax south of Steeles, I've decided to move in just north of Steeles. And I've bought a place for under $300. Now, with my down payment and my monthlies, my mortgage is less than my rent.
Well, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
But you also didn't have to,
thinking,
Stefan, you also didn't have to sell a place in order to get this. You went from a renter to a homeowner, and it probably is the ideal situation.
Right, right. And, well, you know, you have the naysayers amongst my friends that said, you're crazy, what if the furnace breaks? And I think, well, things always come up in life where you have to, you're going to have to spend
Well, I've heard
money
other things,
on, right?
but furnace is a new one. But
well, it could happen, and that's going to happen no matter what the
But
market
as a renter, the landlord would fix these things.
That's
So,
true,
you know, there are expenses that he might not be aware of, but, you know, so what do you say to your friends when those naysayers say, you know, your furnace could break?
Life brings things that you're going to have to spend money on. You just got to be prepared for it. You know, know what you're getting into when you get into it, and just be prepared. You know, don't live beyond. Like we could afford a $400,000 house. Doesn't mean we're going to buy it. It's only me, my wife, and my little son.
That's great.
Why do we need to be in a $400,000 house?
So are you saving money by having purchased?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
There's a great example.
For sure.
And there's a lot of...
And the condo market. Now, a lot of my friends have opted to go condo.
Yeah.
Right? But these people, I mean, they have no control over what they call, what's the charge of the condo?
The maintenance fees. But you know what? They do have a control over it. It just depends on how much they want to get involved with the running of their condominium. So there's some things that are great in condominium. It doesn't apply to everybody. It doesn't work for everybody. In your situation, it sounds like you found, you know, the perfect solution in a market that allowed you to get in.
Well, and for people that have a certain degree of job certainty, you know, it's difficult to say that in this economy, but for those that are fairly comfortable, it's a fantastic time to buy.
Stefan, good luck. Thank you. Nice to hear from you. A quick email before we go. Hi, this is from Dave. I purchased a new home back in early September 2008 for $360,000. The value of this home has recently dropped in price due to the whole financial crisis. My question is, if that value drops below my deposit of $50,000, am I entitled or can I inquire about getting some sort of rebate? Your advice greatly appreciated. Dave from Brampton.
Well, I'm not sure.
Interesting question.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure if it's a brand new. I guess if it is.
I'm
Jim
assuming it is.
So go ahead, Jim.
Well, if it's brand new, no. The contract is between two parties, and they've agreed to certain terms.
But what if it is resale and the value's gone down?
Well, where the concern is that if he bought a home, and I'm not sure whether it's new or resale, but if you bought a home at a certain price and then it's appraised for a mortgage, and they find that the value of the home is less than what you bought, there's an issue. You're going to have to come up with more equity to bridge that gap. But if he has a binding contract, either whether it's resale or new, that's it. You've agreed to those terms and you move forward.
Yeah, I think the only difference being that if it's brand new, you're dealing directly with the builder. If it's a resale, then you're going to be dealing obviously with the seller and with the agents. It's an interesting point is that if you do experience any problems between when you purchase and closing, address those problems right away. Don't sit back.
However,
and
the
wait.
likelihood of how this was described in this email, I think is remote.
Brand new?
Yeah, I think it's remote in terms of. He's looking at the absolute worst catastrophe.
Yeah, and it's all signed, sealed, and delivered.
Sorry.
And you know, as always, the builder signs the contract as well, and the tables could be turned on the builder, and so it's a binding contract. I had a viewer ask me, and I'm going to ask you straight out. Everybody's looking for a deal. Are real estate agents in a position now where they're going to drop their commission?
Well, you know, every case is unique. So regardless of what the market's doing, I mean, when you could say what the market was really busy and sales were happening left, right, and center, that would have been a time for also agents to maybe make that consideration. So it all depends on who you're working with, what the situation is. But of course, agents are always eager to make sales.
Well, there you go. All right. Hey, thank you very much. Well done, and great questions and terrific answers as always. We'll see you next week.
You got it, Ann.
We've got Dave Curry from monstermortgage.ca joining us next. Stay with us.
Park Nouveau, in the heart of Etobicoke, across from the Kipling subway station. Close to the city, but far from ordinary. Where quiet elegance welcomes and comforts you. Where sumptuous settings make you feel right at home. Visit our 5 designer-decorated model suites. Park Nouveau at Essex. It's where you belong. Tridel, built for life.
I love my garden, and I spend as much time out here as I can. So I don't spend a lot of time online, or indoors for that matter. We'd heard about high-speed internet, but we just weren't convinced it was right for us. First, we thought it'd cost too much. It's actually about the same price as our dial-up.
Get Rogers high-speed internet from $19.95 a month. Call 1-866-895-9697 today.
We worried about installation hassles, but getting it installed was a breeze. We got great advice on choosing what suited us best, and we even got free protection for our computer. So now we don't have to worry about things like viruses or spam. They used to be a lunch meat when I was a kid. These days when we're online, it's so much easier to bank, shop, or send email because it's simply faster. Now friends can reach us even when we're online.
Get Rogers high-speed internet with Norton antivirus included. Call 1-866-895-9697 today.
If we'd known it'd be this easy, we would have done it a lot sooner.
Is your makeup showing? Don't you hate that? Well, CoverGirl reinvented True Blend with a makeup formula so sophisticated it won't show, even up close.
Unlike other makeup, True Blend has color spheres that are attracted to skin. They cover, but they don't just sit on top. They spread out and blend in.
My beauty advice? Don't show your flaws and don't show your makeup, even up close. True Blend from easy, breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
Use True Blend's simple numbering system for a flawless look across the True Blend collection.
What's the best reason to buy a new home or condo? All the great choices? Or all the great warranty protection? Tarion stands behind every new home warranty, and that's something you can feel good about.
Hey yo, this is Kanye West. Can anyone tell me what Much Music Holiday Rap is?
We can tell you, Kanye. Much Holiday Rap is a time to remember that staying untouched is our everyday.
A time to figure out, do I swing that way?
A time to let loose, a time to be free. A time to remember that I was crazy. Crazy.
The Much Holiday Rap is back. Sexy stars, year-end countdowns and specials, Jonas Brothers, Britney, and more. Every day, all day, on now.
Yo, you taking my picture, player?
Only on Much Music.
Are you trying to finance the purchase of your first home, but your bank won't give you the lowest interest rate? Call or visit monstermortgage.ca today and see how you can pay down your mortgage quicker and contribute to your bottom line, not your bank's. Monstermortgage.ca, giving you the facts your bank won't tell you.
Welcome back to Hot Property. Dave Curry, monstermortgage.ca. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Ann.
So big question marks from an awful lot of people about why the banks aren't passing on the same rate cut that the Bank of Canada announced.
I believe what's really happened is that people were expecting a half a point. The numbers came out a week earlier than that, weaker, the economy was weaker. And what ended up happening is they dropped 3/4 of a point.
And why didn't the banks do the same?
Well, because they're working towards it. Just like last time, they expected a 1/4 point, it ended up being a half.
I think a lot of people are steamed. There's a Facebook site right now that has been set up, and it's, you know, it's insisting that Canadian banks match what the central bank did.
There's no guarantee. There's no correlation. There has been in the past. Doesn't mean it has to be in the future.
But don't you think at this point, you know, I'm going to step into it, that banks would want to be in a position where they're making it as lucrative as possible so that people go out and get mortgages? You know, I mean, let's talk about competition. It's at its finest right now.
It is. And there's no question about it. And we're seeing that on the variable rate. It used to be like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we're talking prime plus 1. We're now talking prime plus 60. So somebody has stepped up to the plate. Actually, 3 lenders have stepped up to the plate and are now offering prime minus or prime plus 60.
Small comfort for those who, before this economic crisis began to surface, they were able to get their hands on prime minus 80.
Correct. But now look at those people that are at 3.5, that are at prime minus 80, or at 2.70. But brings it to a good point, though, Ann, is that I know times are tough, but this is an excellent time to pay yourself. If you were used to paying 4.5%, 5%, this is the opportunity to pay down your mortgage. Pay yourself, because it's not going to always stay like this.
Why do you say pay yourself? To me, it's paying the bank because you're paying down your mortgage.
But you're paying the principal.
Right.
Therefore, less interest. Therefore, you're paying yourself in the long run.
Okay.
I took 6, 7, 8 calls today where we're setting the payments at 4.5%, 5%. Because that means prime would have to almost go to 6%, almost double where it is right now, before those payments are adjusted upwards. So what they're doing in the interim, they're paying down the debt. Now, you want to get a leg up on this. This is one way of doing it, because you're creating equity in the property.
We're hearing little ripples of information and threats that there might be a lot of foreclosures when it comes to Canadians and their homes. What are you hearing about that?
Well, they have to sell newspapers. Everybody has to talk about it. Everybody has to see it. I deal with lenders every day, and I'm not hearing it.
You deal with clients every day? I mean, it's lenders, yes, and obviously homeowners. The fact that this has even been mentioned sent chills through an awful lot of people.
It has. And what we're really doing right now is refinancing, lowering the payments, taking some of that debt off of there, and learning about it. The first time in 25 years in the paper today, the America people are actually decreasing their credit requirements. It's the first time in 25 years they're actually, instead of reinvesting, borrowing money against the home, they're actually starting to pay down debt. And this is a major step, because it's been increasing over the last 25 years, and we're finally learning our lessons. It's not the same here in Canada, Ann, is that we've always had really 5%, 10% down.
Yeah, but we're hearing the word foreclosure. We haven't heard that before.
No.
Not since I've been paying attention.
It's always been there. It's always been there, but the affordability now has come down as well. You're going from 5% basically down to 3.25%, 3.5%.
But there's a great portion of the population who's stuck trying to sell something in order to buy something, and therein lies the problem. You know, if we had a great caller, Stefan, I believe, who talked to us about going from renting to owning. Perfect situation, because that is the perfect brew right now.
It is.
You know, low rates. It's a great time. That low
tremendous opportunity.
Purchasing price,
and that's what this show is really about too.
That's not necessarily everyone watching. There are an awful lot of people who would either like to sell their homes, need to sell their homes, want to move on, move up, have already committed to something else, and they're having a lot of trouble.
And what it really comes down to is how long ago did they buy? If they bought within the last 12 to 24 months, yes. But if it's been outside of 24 months, chances are that they've built up equity by paying down the debt. If they're in a variable rate, the rate's gone almost in half. And this gives them a tremendous opportunity to build equity. They may not sell for what they want.
But they don't see it unless they sell their place.
That's correct.
It's only equity once you get that check.
It gives them the opportunity, though, to move to the next level. And they may not avoid the high ratio insurance. They may still have to go back into it, but still gives them that opportunity.
Let's go to Brampton and speak with Mary right now. Hi, Mary. Welcome, Mary. You're live on Hot Property.
Hi, Ann. How are you?
It's nice to hear from you, Mary. You okay?
Yes. I'm in a bit of a dilemma, because I just sold my home in October.
Yes.
I'm looking for a new home. I'm downsizing. And there's nothing out there. There's very little out there. But my question is about mortgages from the bank. Right now, my bank is going to offer me a 5-year rate at 4.99. I'm wondering, what are the benefits of going into a fixed term, into a 5-year term of 4.99, or should I go into a variable?
And don't you have a lower 5-year?
We do. We have actually right now, Mary, on our website, we have 4.79 that's applicable to you.
And that's from a major lending institution?
It is from a major lending institution. What it really comes down to, Mary, is the equity and how you feel comfortable in a monthly payment. What we like to do right now is go with a variable rate, which is really at 4.10%. And if you feel comfortable having the rate at 5% or 4.99, we can set your rate at 4.99.
But she wouldn't need to do that. If she found that money was a little tighter, she could stick to the true monthly payment or biweekly or whatever.
And our job at Monster is to try to get you mortgage free as fast as possible. That's why we do that.
What are the advantages of a fixed rate right now, if any? I mean, it seems that that's where Mary wants to head.
The bank wants her to head that way.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty attractive rate.
It is. However,
and there's security in that.
If you have 4.10, right now we have 4.89 with the lock-in rate. So you would get the lowest rate when you go to lock in, or the best rate. And we will not really let people lock in right now. We do not recommend it unless there's a valid reason, because we believe the rates may go even lower.
But will the banks follow suit? Again, that is the question. Something we're learning, that the banks don't have to do what the central bank does.
Again, about 4 months ago, Ann, we were at 5.75. Today we're at 4.79. Competition is taking over.
Now, are you nervous about what's going on around you, Mary?
I'm very nervous because my house sold within 3 weeks, and it was very quick, and they said either they take it October 30th or I'm going to lose the deal. And with this market, I said, okay, you know what, I'll take the deal.
You're really wise to have sold when you did, and smart and lucky, too.
It's very interesting, though, what Mary is that was when the market was attractive. We had that.
It was hot then.
She turns around and says she can't find anything.
Well, that's so interesting, too. So
it's very interesting that there's no product that she's looking for.
Are you looking in Brampton, Mary?
Oh, Brampton, Mississauga, Caledon. The prices are still up there. I'm just waiting for them to drop a little bit because I don't think they're being reasonable, and they're not even looking at my offer anymore.
Isn't that interesting? Wow.
People don't have to sell. You see, Ann, there's where market conditions are coming in.
Yet, maybe with some patience, Mary might reoffer in January and get what she wants.
Correct.
I'm hoping Santa will bring me a big Christmas gift.
Nice house with a big bow on it.
This is where you hear the good stories, Ann. And Mary sold at the right time, and has the rates come down, and has the opportunity to wait.
And to go fixed or variable, that is the question. Okay, that's what you like, and Mary's going to make the decision. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break here on Hot Property. We'll be right back.
Storm alert on CP24. With exclusive all-day coverage.
I'm meteorologist Chris Potter tracking a dangerous double shot of winter coming our way. Who will be hit the hardest, how much snow will we get, and more importantly, when will it all be over? We're keeping our eyes on it every step of the way.
Watch exclusive all-day coverage only on Toronto's Storm Station, CP24.
Have you been downtown lately?
SellWithDan.com.
What a vibrant city we've become. People around the world and here at home are discovering the opportunities of living and investing in downtown Toronto.
SellWithDan.com. SellWithDan.com.
I've sold thousands of properties in Toronto over the last 2 decades, and each home, like each client, is unique. I'm Dan Ellenberg, and I'm looking forward to helping you.
SellWithDan.com.
You moisturize everywhere else. Why not your scalp? Respect it with Advanced Head & Shoulders conditioners. Over time, its targeted moisturizers start at the scalp to nourish hair, leaving it softer, silkier, and free of visible flakes. Advanced Head & Shoulders conditioners respect the scalp, love the hair. Recommended by the Dermatology Review Panel.
What's the best reason to buy a new home or condo? That new home feeling? Or that new home warranty? Up to $300,000 in warranty protection, backed by Tarion, is something you can feel good about.
Swiffer WetJet cleans so well on so many surfaces,
You may never go back to your old mop again.
I got a delivery from a Mr. Mop.
Swiffer Wet Jet Starter Kit is a multi-surface solution and thick absorbent pads to clean better than a mop or your money back. Guaranteed.
Candygram.
Ahoy! Mother Nature here with your monthly gift. Actually, I'm good. Maybe you should go ashore for some backup. Backup.
Who needs backup? Tampax Pearl has leak guard protection built in. Outsmart Mother Nature with Tampax.
It's where Front meets John. It's where Toronto comes to play. It's where time stands still. It's where you belong. 300 Front Street West. Tridel. Built for life.
CP24, Toronto's breaking news.
Dave Curry, monstermortgage.ca. Welcome back to Hot Property. Let's go to Jason in Brampton for a call. Hi, Jason.
Hi.
Hi, what's your question?
Real quickly, I just want to know his opinion on, I'm about to receive a renewal, and I'm on a 5-year fix now, so I would like to know what I should be expecting from my lending institution. They're pretty major, so I'm just curious to know what to expect.
Glad you asked.
Jason, very good question. What you'll end up is really with the posted rates. Right now, the 5-year, depending on when it comes out, and again, they changed the rates
What
last
would it
time.
be right now for a 5-year?
It could be either $6.99 or $6.75.
And yet a
posted
major
rate,
lending
5.
institution is under 5 that you are able to
That's
access.
correct.
I don't get
And
that.
what it really comes down to is they try to sign you up, and if they only have to discount at 1 point, Jason, then you're locking in at $5.75, $5.99. It's a way of the bank guaranteeing their profits. They don't want you to shop. That's why they only send the rate out 30 days ahead of time.
But Jason's too smart for that. He's asking this question,
Yeah.
so what should he do?
You should scout around, talk to a broker, Monster Mortgage, and we represent 30-some-odd lenders, and you can transfer the mortgage literally for free, no cost to yourself, and that way you're paying yourself and you're paying rather than waiting for the bank to make the decision. And that's the important aspect of it.
Okay, let's go to John next in Toronto. Hi, John.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, we have time for a very short question.
Okay, basically, I'm looking at a house or a condo that's $268,000.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
You know what? I think we may have lost John. What's your best advice right now for anybody who's worried about refinancing? You talked about that. Give us a quick example of how that can work.
Where you can go with a longer amortization, lower your payments. You may have 2 or 3 debts with big monthly credit card debts. Consolidate, and you can put it all together with a lower monthly payment.
Thank you, Dave Curry. Thanks for watching this edition of Hot Property. See you next week.
Hot Property is brought to you by monstermortgage.ca. Take the fear out of financing. Daniel Ellenberg, Toronto's real estate expert, and Tridel, built for life.
Why is your bank selling you a fixed-rate mortgage when history has proven you're better off with a variable rate? Call or visit monstermortgage.ca today and see how you can pay down your mortgage quicker and contribute to your bottom line, not your bank's. Monstermortgage.ca, giving you the facts your bank won't tell you.
I love my garden, and I spend as much time out here as I can. So I don't spend a lot of time online, or indoors for that matter. We'd heard about high-speed internet, but we just weren't convinced it was right for us. First, we thought it'd cost too much. It's actually about the same price as our dial-up.
Get Rogers high-speed internet from $19.95 a month. Call 1-866-895-9697 today.
We worried about installation hassles, but getting it installed was a breeze. We got great advice on choosing what suited us best, and we even got free protection for our computer. So now we don't have to worry about things like viruses or spam. That used to be a lunch meat when I was a kid. These days when we're online, it's so much easier to bank, shop, or send email because it's simply faster. Now friends can reach us even when we're online.
Get Rogers high-speed internet with Norton antivirus included. Call 1-866-895-9697 today.
If we'd known it'd be this easy, we would have done it a lot sooner.
Swiffer WetJet cleans so well on so many surfaces, you may never go back to your old mop again.
I got a delivery from a Mr. Mop.
Swiffer WetJet Starter Kit is a multi-surface solution and thick absorbent pads to clean better than a mop or your money back. Guaranteed.
Candygram.
Folgers beans are evenly roasted, so you'll wake up to a rich, pure Folgers taste.
Know someone under 20 who's a leader, innovator, achiever? Nominate them for the top 20 under 20, because when passion and effort are rewarded, the results can be extraordinary.
Have you been downtown lately?
SellWithDan.com.
What a vibrant city we've become. People around the world and here at home are discovering the opportunities of living and investing in downtown Toronto.
SellWithDan.com. SellWithDan.com.
I've sold thousands of properties in Toronto over the last 2 decades, and each home, like each client, is unique. I'm Dan Ellenberg, and I'm looking forward to helping you.
SellWithDan.com.
You are watching Daily Planet on CP24. I'm Jay Ingram. At an aerospace test facility in Italy, engineers ready a huge test rig to smash a helicopter and its crew of crash test dummies into hard concrete. Their goal, to see how new technology, like this airbag system, could improve helicopter safety.
In this project, we want to demonstrate that using safety device on board equivalent to those used in the automotive field, we can increase very much the safety of the occupants in the helicopters.
Engineer Umberto Mercurio is in charge of today's test. He works at the Italian Aerospace Research Center, known as CIRA. Today, the pressure's on Umberto and his team. The helicopter must hit the ground at an exact speed and an exact angle. There's a lot of research is riding on the results of this test. On hand are representatives of major European aerospace companies and agencies. They've been working together in a consortium called HeliSafe to improve the survivability of helicopter crashes. Twice before, HeliSafe partners have come here to crash test fuselages of Bell UH-1 helicopters. They've used the test data to redesign helicopter safety gear, like energy-absorbing seats. German company Autoflug designed pre-tensioned, self-adjusting seatbelts. Another German company, Siemens, developed an airbag system adapted from automotive technology. But to truly validate the designs, the new gear must be tested in the same conditions as the previous crash tests. That way, the engineers will be sure their designs are behaving as predicted. Umberto is depending on Kira's test rig. It's a unique structure designed to throw an aircraft to the ground in a controlled, predictable way. The helicopter is attached to a wheeled trolley. The trolley will use gravity and hydraulic pressure to accelerate the helicopter toward the ground. The trolley is guided by a 30-meter tall frame that can be adjusted to control the angle of impact. At the last moment, the helicopter is released and free falls. The rig allows Umberto to control that fall.
In other words, the reproducibility of the test is the main advantage of this facility.
Earlier today, the fuselage was prepared. The crash test dummies were belted in with redesigned harnesses, sitting on new energy-absorbing seats. This is the airbag unit. From previous tests, engineers learned it works best if it's high up on the instrument panel, where it uses the windshield for support when it deploys. Sensors are installed at key locations. They'll gauge the forces acting on the fuselage and measure how it deforms on impact. The dummies have internal sensors to gauge damage to their bodies. In all, the sensors will produce 136 channels of data to be captured by a sturdy onboard data recorder. Umberto's team checks the sensors one last time. Then a crane moves the fuselage to the test rig. Umberto inspects the high-speed cameras that will record the test. The cameras will capture targets on the fuselage and on the dummies, which can be tracked using software to validate sensor data. The pitch angle of the helicopter is checked. It needs to hit the ground the same way it did before. Then slowly the trolley is raised. It takes a while, so we've sped things up. Once it reaches the top, the hydraulic launching system hisses as it builds up pressure. After a final safety check, Umberto gives the go-ahead. A siren sounds a 10-second warning. The helicopter should hit the ground at an impact velocity of about 15 meters per second. That's fast enough to kill a person not restrained or protected by safety gear. Umberto checks out the damage, and he's happy. Of course, data from the instruments will give a much more accurate picture of what really happened during the test. But it looks like his team did a good job reproducing the crash. And it seems the new safety gear worked well, too.
We can see that the head of the pilot not damaged. The other passengers are in good conditions. And the safety belts that we have installed work very well.
Later, Umberto and the HeliSafe engineers pore over the high-speed video. It shows the airbag deploying as it should, supported by the windshield. The next step, fine-tune the new safety equipment, get it into the field. The engineers think the new devices could reduce crash fatalities by 20 to 40%. If that happens, it's no exaggeration to say this will have been a smashing success. Check out more Daily Planet stories weeknights on Discovery Channel. I'm Jay Ingram. You are watching Daily Planet on CP24. I'm Jay Ingram. They're the biggest questions about global warming. How much of the world's ice will melt? How quickly will that happen? And what will it mean for the world's oceans? Jason Briner thinks the key to understanding that future could lie in the past. He's been sampling sediments laid down gradually over thousands of years in the lake bottoms of Greenland.
Here at the bottom of the core are sands and very stiff materials that were deposited by the ice sheet.
The layers reveal the long history of the ice there from 10,000 years ago up to today.
One of the large uncertainties right now is sea level rise and how much sea level rise. And one of the reasons why we don't know that all that well in the future is that we don't necessarily know what the response of the ice sheets exactly is going to be to climate change.
But understanding how ice sheets might melt is a tall order. Every year, the ice grows and retreats with the seasons. It also flows, moving slowly downhill toward the sea. Far from being a solid mass, an ice sheet is a complex system that is constantly in motion.
And one of the uncertainties arises from our inability to completely understand what these outlet glaciers are responding to. Are they responding to global warming, or are there other internal, intrinsic features of the ice sheet that they're responding to?
Now, Bea Chato and her team are using a dramatic new approach that should help scientists answer those questions. Using technology that would be at home in a Hollywood studio, they've created dramatic 3D images of Greenland's ice sheet melting over time.
You just really begin to see things differently. You can say, well, I can imagine it in 3D. It's still very different, especially when you can peek on the surfaces, you can turn them, you can go there, you can crawl them, you can fly there. So you see things what you didn't expect to see there.
The 3D images are created using a combination of archival aerial photos and satellite images. The trick is to find pairs of images that overlap slightly, then feed them to the viewer's eyes separately with the help of some special 3D glasses. The resulting scene can be explored on a computer or projected on a screen.
The left eye gets a slightly different view from the right eye, and the brain fuses these two images to a 3D interpretation. And it's exactly the same thing on this system here.
For this to work properly, the images have to be carefully lined up to one another and to GPS coordinates.
We use common points. You find the same rock, for example, in two photographs, and then you match it up, and then you just use mathematical techniques.
The technique has been successful in combining all kinds of images, from satellite photos to ice-penetrating radar. Even aerial photos from the 1940s and 50s have been fed into the system. That means the team can also look back in time.
We use everything, and we just basically put it together.
The system won't replace field studies, of course, but using a specially designed 3D mouse, measurements can be made to help scientists identify which areas of ice are changing the fastest and where they need to focus their efforts on the ground.
We know that there's dramatic change there today, therefore these might be good places to understand how they behaved in the past.
First we can say, well, it didn't happen in the last 20 years, it didn't happen in the last 100 years, but what ultimately we and others try to say how it compares with this long timeline of 10,000 or 100,000 years.
And the better we understand the past, the better we'll be able to answer questions about the future. Check out more Daily Planet stories weeknights on Discovery Channel. I'm Jay Ingram.
You're watching Daily Planet on CP24. I'm Kim Jagtiani. They never meant to build it. It was just an idea they wrote up for business class. Until engineering student Nathan Mitten had another idea.
I said, why don't we actually try to build this thing?
The result is the Photon, a head-turning ride that's part tricycle, part electric car.
We get a lot of looks. I mean, people are just, what in the world is that thing? It definitely is an eye-catcher.
The Photon is meant to do more than just look good. These guys are dedicated environmentalists. They hope their creation will help car lovers everywhere find their inner cyclist.
Because there's some people that would like to ride a bike, but it's just too inconvenient for them. They don't have anywhere to put their stuff. They don't have weather protection. They get caught in the rain. So we're trying to design this in a way that alleviates a lot of those disadvantages to getting to work in a more sustainable way.
So the Photon has a roomy luggage compartment. A canopy roof will be added soon. You don't have to pedal hard either. The Photon has an electric assist. Switch it on, and the motor will carry you up hills with ease.
It can be powered by any combination of human pedal power, like a regular bicycle, with a regular 21-gear drivetrain, or an electric motor. And the electric motor runs off of a battery system, and that battery system is charged by solar panels.
Those solar panels mean the Photon is a true zero-emission vehicle. You never have to plug it in.
When you get to where you're going, then these things, will basically come up, deploy like this, and then that center piece is actually going to be on a pivot. So the entire panel will be able to swing this way so you can orient it towards the sunlight.
The Photon is still a work in progress, though. Today, Nate and the gang are installing a plastic door to protect the electronics. They're also adding some signal lights. And those are just a few of the features they've got planned. Of course, endless improvements do have some drawbacks.
This is battery drawn 5.
Today, a mistake hooking up some new equipment shorts out their only batteries.
These things, I think, touch the bottom metal plate over here and basically shorted the batteries out.
A little bit of smoke.
Battle wound. That was good.
One more scar. We need to clean this plate up, though.
Yeah.
No one is hurt, but a quick triage reveals that the batteries are toast. That means the electric motor is temporarily out of commission, and an upgrade to a new kind of batteries has to move way up on the agenda.
The electrical components are actually mounted right behind the rider, so I wouldn't want something, you know, lighting on fire or smoking right behind somebody who's operating it. Fortunately, the battery chemistry that we're moving to is actually much safer than these.
Oh no, my battery's exploded.
Like true inventors, the gang remains upbeat despite the setback.
Is there anything else they should know that not touch?
No.
In fact, they're excited about the advantages of upgrading to a new lithium battery.
It's not only very energy dense and power dense, so you can store a lot of energy in a very small area, and you can also suck a lot of current out of them very quickly, and it does not damage the battery.
Meanwhile, they're happy to show off the Photon using good old-fashioned pedal power.
It's one thing to say that we need to do this, it has to be done, but what we want to do is really show that it can be done, and it can actually be a lot of fun, and it can even be convenient.
Looks like nothing will keep this team off the road to cleaner travel. Check out more Daily Planet stories weeknights on Discovery Channel. I'm Kim Jagtiani.
CP24, Toronto's breaking news. CP24, Toronto's breaking news.
It's Saturday, 7 o'clock, minus 16 degrees with a wind chill of minus 25. From 299 Queen Street West, this is Toronto's breaking news, CP24. Hello, I'm Teresa Cruz. We'll have traffic and weather coming up, but first, our top story. A winter storm watch is in effect again for Toronto as round 2 gets set to strike. Keep shoveling. We have more on the way. As Toronto digs out from under the 15 to 20 centimeters that was dumped on us yesterday, another blast of snow is gathering strength. We'll have a brief break to get sidewalks and driveways cleared before the snow moves